those questions, giving if time permits. So we're going to be spending, for each party will give a 5-minute introduction to themselves, to the candidate, and to the party as they so wish. And then we'll spend only 25 minutes going over those 4 questions. And I'm sure then we'll have I want to leave a lot of time for question and answer. That's why you're here. So we'll leave a whole hour for that. And people can come, the representatives can come back to those questions if they don't get a chance to fully cover them. Okay?
James, quick question. Is there someone in the audience who's going to flash us when it's 30 seconds?
Right. Actually, that was, yeah. Daniel, do you want to? Yeah. If not, I'll probably, I could probably also just signal that from down there. But it'd probably be better if someone was here.
If there's someone in the front, that's
yeah.
always the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's turn it over here to Tim first.
Thank you very much. And thank all of you for coming. It's actually very rare for someone from the Green Party to be standing and saying, I'm the only representative of a major party standing in front of you. I just had to say that at the beginning because this is my 9th and last all-candidates meeting. 8 of them, 6 of them have been in our own riding of Trinity Spadina, which is this area here. And I've represented the party on a couple of anti-poverty forums and TVO's agenda and a few other things debating the other 3 parties. So I'm always the fringe party, or treated that way. And of course, our leader wasn't in the debates last night, despite the fact that we got 5 to 10% of the vote in Ontario, and we finally have elected our first federal member of Parliament. I've actually been in this room many times. I not only have went here, got my Bachelor of Education here, but I've also taken many teachers' college summer courses while I was a teacher in my past life. But for the last 20 years, I've been publishing a magazine called Green Teacher and a whole bunch of books that some of you may be familiar with that, on environmental education, how to incorporate the environment into teaching. So it's always fun to be back. But I'm standing before you today, however, as the Green Party candidate in Trinity Spadina, working with a team of people that has become the largest Green campaign in the history of the City of Toronto. We hope to do very, very well with the 2 main parties that slug it out here. And we've had incredibly good reception. The focus here is environment. Let me start with a focus on that and then to kind of build a wider circle around that, because as James mentioned, we're going to dive into climate change and green energy and a variety of key environmental issues here that bedevil Ontario. Really, the central idea of the Green Party is the idea of a tax shift. The idea that what you're doing is you're putting a tax on the bads. Let's simplify it. Taxing the bads and using that money for good. And so we'll talk about carbon taxes a little later, but it's the idea that you would tax resources in particular, resource consumption, and then use that money to make, to reduce income taxes, reduce employment taxes, various things like that. So that what you're doing is driving efficiencies throughout the economy, and you're ultimately being revenue neutral. So you're reducing if you're driving up the price of resources that people need, but don't have to consume in the amounts that we're consuming now, you want to have a payback in terms of reducing people's cost of living. So that's sort of a general idea, but I want to give you a couple of examples of that aren't so related, some of which are related to that idea. And one of the issues that, I'm a brand new candidate, and I've gone, canvass probably hit 6,000 or 7,000 doors now in Trinity Spadina, the neighborhood. It mostly runs west of here and all the way down to the Toronto Islands, out to Ossington and Dovercourt. And as a brand new candidate, you walk ahead, you go to the door, and I might try 2 issues on you, and 2 issues on you, and 2 others, and find out which ones people find are of interest. And the one issue that's been has been the most popular isn't quite the right word, is my proposal for junk food taxes. And specifically what that proposal is the idea of driving up the price of junk food and using all of that revenue to make healthy food more affordable for the people who need it the most. So you deal with child hunger problems by funding free school breakfast and lunch programs. You make sure people on low income, especially on social assistance, actually have access to fruits and vegetables after they pay their rent. But the reason for this, the core idea of this is that there's about 30 European countries have done this for a while, but 30 US states are now looking at it. Illinois found that a 2-cent per ounce tax on top, that's a pretty big tax, 24 cents on a can of Coke, let's say, would reduce diabetes 18%, would reduce healthcare spending by $350 million, and it generated $800 million that could be used to make healthy food more affordable for the people who need it the most. I mention this because, not because it's an environmental issue explicitly, but it's an example of how a green tax can have multiple benefits. Eliminating child hunger, making sure the poorest of the poor actually have better diets, and reducing healthcare costs at the same time. We Greens are, another aspect of us that's a little different than other parties is we sort of look in a non-ideological way for the opportunities. We haven't built affordable housing in Toronto in 15 years. And we can argue with provincial and federal governments about that as we have for that long length of time. We Greens noticed that what we are building is condos. So we're calling for 30% of all new units in condo buildings to be affordable. Because our definition of a healthy community is having rich and poor on the same elevator. I look forward to chatting with you about these and many other issues over the next little while. Thank you.